Hello everyone, it's Georgie. Welcome to my channel. I hope that you're all doing well. Today I was kind of in the mood to work on this big pink journal that I call Pink Lady. Earlier I did a video on how I built the cover for it, and then I did a couple of shorts with me adding this lace trim to it. And I'll link those in the description box below if you want to see those. But since then I've put together 5 signatures, or bundles of pages, each with just a few pages in them so that the journal doesn't gape too much. I used kind of thick scrapbook paper, so it's going to take up a lot of room. So I have 5 of them, so I didn't want to put too many pages in them. So when you're sewing signatures into a journal with a hidden spine like this, it's a little bit trickier, but it can totally be done, and it's really a lot of fun. So stick around as I try, actually for me, kind of an experimental way to bind our book together. In this other journal that I made, this big journal with the hidden spine, I actually sewed in the signatures the hard way. And what I did was I left the cloth, and here, let me just show you real quick. I have in here, when I bound the outside, I used a piece of cloth and I glued it down to help reinforce the spine. And also this is the piece of cloth that I used. And so what I did in the other journal, in this one, was I sewed the signatures directly into the cloth, and then I glued the cloth down into the book when it was all put together. And that was really a hard way of doing it because it was kind of fiddly. And as you can see here, the signatures didn't turn out very well as far as being very straight. So that's a little bit sad. Still a nice book and I like it. So sewing in signatures is a little bit of a challenge when you do it like that. So I'm going to try a different way. I am going to cut this piece of cloth out. I have it taped in because I didn't want it flopping around when I was painting the outside. So I'll take the tape off. And what I'm going to do is first cut this out, and I'll leave a little bit of a lip so that I can glue that down so that there's some overlap like I have on this upper part. I'll just do it like that. There. And I will glue this part down like I have up here. And I don't really need all of this because it's pretty wide, so I'm going to trim it down, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to wrap it around this piece of cardboard that seems to fit very nicely into the spine, and I'm going to wrap the cloth around it. It's this way. I'm going to wrap the cloth around it, and I'm going to glue it so that once it's dry, we can sew our signatures into it, and then put the insides of the book right in here and bind our book together like so. So I'll move this out of the way. Let's see, I've got a piece of cereal box liner that I can use to catch any glue, and I'm going to use this thin Mod Podge that I've used in other projects that works really well. So we don't need all of this because, like I said, it's a bit wide of a piece of cloth. We just need enough to cover the cardboard. So I guess I'll just trim it to about here. Just trim it down. Okay, put that aside. It looks about right. We could do it like this. Let's do it like this so that you don't see Rice Krispies peeking through. we'll do it like this, and then wrap that around. And then when we put it inside the book, it'll be like that. So, okay. So here it goes. I'm going to pour a little bit of this thin Mod Podge into this little Dixie cup. If I can open this Mod Podge. Okay, I got the Mod Podge open. So, pour a little bit of glue in there. It's not gonna need a lot. Okay, so we're gonna do like this. Wait, no, wrong way. Well, I guess it doesn't really matter. We're gonna glue both sides, so I wanted to start with this side though. So we'll start with this side. Okay. Let's see, what's the best way to wrap this around so that maybe I should cut the corners off. I think that's what I'll do. I'll cut off the corners just like I would do if I was wrapping something else. All right, let's see if that works. So I'm gonna do the bottom and the top first. And maybe I'll glue those down. Now I'll do the edges, or the sides rather. Edges or sides, whatever you want to call them. That's what we'll do. It seems to be working. Okay, try to pull it nice and taut. And I'll glue on top of that. Seems to be holding pretty well, but I'll just put a little bit extra glue on there just to make sure. That should hold. I think I'll glue a little bit on this side too. Very nice. Okay, so there is our inner spine. Nice. So I'm going to pour a little bit left that I got back into my jar. Doesn't take much. And then we're going to go ahead and let that dry, and when we come back, we can sew in the signatures, and that's going to be so much fun. So hang around for that, and we'll see that in just a second. Hi everybody, we're back, and the spine is now dry and it's looking really good. So soon we'll be able to sew the signatures into the spine, but we actually have to do an extra step because I noticed when I opened this up and I put the spine in to see how it would look, that it doesn't cover the spine, the inner spine completely. And if I glued the spine in as is before I put anything on these panels, this Lowe's tape is going to show. So what I did was I cut down a couple pieces of scrapbook paper to put in there before I put the spine with the pages in the book. So I have the panels overlapping just a little bit. See how that works? So that when I put the spine on, it'll cover it. And what I did was ink the edges around with some worn lipstick. And so that's why it's pink around the edges. See that? And I think what I'm going to do is where it bends, I'm going to score right there. So I'm going to mark that. Let's see, where is that about? See, I want to line it up as I'm going to glue it down. and it looks like it bends about there. So that looks like it's maybe half an inch. Let's take a look at the ruler. It's about almost half an inch. So I will just make a score line. I'm going to do like this. See how it's bent right there? Let me remeasure that. And see, that's about a half an inch. I'm going to just go ahead and do each panel. I'm going to score them using this scoreboard, and I'm going to score them at half an inch, and that should be good. Looks like it might be a little bit more. Well, let's try half an inch and see how it looks. So I scored it, and now I'm going to bend it at the score line and see if that looks like it's going to fit. Side panel number 1. Looks like it fits. Excellent, excellent. Okay, so we're going to do the other one at half an inch as well. I'm going to do it at half an inch on this side. And I'll bend it and see how it looks. That looks good. That's gonna look really nice. I think that will work. And then put that in there. So since this is going to be another edge, I'm going to bend them slightly the other direction for a second, and then just ink that edge real quick. I've got a little tiny makeup sponge that I use for most of my colored inks because I don't have a dauber for all my colors. There. There's one. Sorry if I wasn't in the screen. Sometimes I forget I'm recording and get my work really close to me so I can see it better. There we go. Bend it back the other way a little. And then what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to use Fabri-Tac to glue down these. Since there's cloth involved, I think it'll make it a lot easier. Well, it's hard for the Fabri-Tac to flow out of a bottle like this. So a lot of us put them in a squeezier bottle like this, and I marked it. This one's a Sugar Bell bottle for frosting icings, and it's a lot squishier than this bottle, so it's easier to squeeze out. And I just put a pin in the top to keep it from getting clogged. And what I'll do is get a piece of scrap paper. I'll use this, and I will glue it back and then glue it down each panel. Now I could use my fingers to spread this around, but I don't like getting my fingers all gluey, so I usually use a little spatula like this, and I start with the edges because I feel like the edges are the most important. It's really important to make sure that you get your edges glued down really well. So spreading out the edges. It wants to dry pretty quick, so I think what I'll do is add a little more. I just want to make sure that I've got plenty of stickiness on the page so that I can glue it panel down. Place it very carefully. And then I'm going to use this bone folder to smash it down as best I can. And looks like I have to use my hands to get around these little kind of bumpier parts. But hopefully that will stick, and if not, I'll just stick the nozzle underneath there and get any little edges that may be lifting up. Make sure it bends where it's supposed to bend. It looks like it does. So on these little lumpy parts, it didn't want to stick down, so I'm going to go ahead and try that again. Hold that till it sticks. That's better. Looks like it's sticking pretty good. Take your time with this part because these panels, you know, are pretty important part of the book. I'm going to just go ahead and proceed with the second panel. This one's going to be going over all this lace and ribbon, so it is going to be even trickier to glue down. So I think what I'm going to do is get a little radical, and I'm going to, okay, I finally got it open. It took a little doing, but I got it open. And I think I'm going to go crazy, and oh, I feel hesitant to do this. Should I do it? Let's do it. I'm going to pour it on, you guys. I'm going to pour it on right onto the panel. And then, whoa! I am going to spread it around with a little palette knife. Make sure it is up to the edges really well. I want to make sure that there's no spots left on the panel that are without glue, because it'll make a bubble, which I'm afraid the other panel might have some bubbles in there because of the glue not being as liberally placed. Here we go. Nice. Nice. There we go. So those are stuck down good. All right, so we got the two panels in, and it looks like they're bendable. Oh, look at that. It wants to come up whenever I'm bending it. Looks like it needs a little bit more glue down inside. See, it's bubbling up. I'll add a little bit more glue down into this part where the cloth is. Hope you guys can see this pretty good. Just needs a lot of glue to stick good while the book is bending. So I want to hold it shut, or I want to hold it down to glue while the book is closed-ish, so that it'll stay whenever we open and close the book later. So I'm letting it dry for a minute. And that looks like it's gonna work. This one needs more, I can see. I'm gonna hold that until it dries. All this little attention to detail will pay off when it's all finished. It'll be beautiful. You'll see. And that looks like it's holding pretty good. And there, it looks like the book is able to open and close with a minimal amount of bubbling. Excellent. Excellent. So I know that took a few minutes, but I really think that it's worth taking the extra time to put the panels in really, really well in a book like this. Next, we can put in, well, we can put the signatures into the spine. So let's get ready to do that. So now that we're ready to sew the signatures into the spine, what I did was, while I was practicing, I made this template to go on here that I was gonna use to make sure that my holes in my signatures are straight. So I'll show you how I did that. I'll make another one of these so that you can see what I did. So simply took a piece of paper and I traced around it. Oops. Then I cut it down to size. There. So we got a piece of paper that's the same size as our spine. And what I did with this one was I folded it in half. Since we've got 5 signatures, this is how I thought to do it. Fold it in half lengthwise. That gives you a middle. Then I folded it one edge to the center fold on one side, and I did the same thing on the other side. I'll lay it out so you can kind of see what I did, if you can see it. Hope you can see it. Folded the other side into the middle so that when you open it up, you have 1, 2, 3 folds. What I then did was, to get a center, I folded it in half this way. And in order to get an equidistant top and bottom, I just simply folded it, about 1/2 inch, like that. So then when you open it up, you have this. And what I'll do is I'll draw lines where the folds are at so that you can see. Can you see those pencil marks? I'm just sorry if you can't see them, but they're on there. Let's see. And then in the middle, there's a darker one. I guess I could have just made them darker. It is just a template after all. It's not like it's going to be in the book. I'll show you how we're using it. I'll make these darker. There. There we go. So then what I did was I picked my middle to make a hole here, and then down at the bottom, a hole there, and at the top, a hole there. Then the way I decided to make the other holes was I put a hole in between the edge and the side line, right in the middle. So I did that on all 3 sections. I hope this works. This is, again, an experiment for me. And then, so that's 3 holes. And then to make our other 2, I put the dots between, kind of partially, like, I don't know if you can see that. Can you see what I'm trying to say? I have it not in the middle, but a little bit off to the side, close to this line. And then I have this one also not in the middle, but just a little bit closer to the side. So that's how I tried to get my 5 equidistant dots. And I'm going to do that on each part. So again, little bit to the side, little bit to the side, little bit to the side, little bit to the side. There. So that's our template. We could put this one aside and use this one. So what we'll do is poke holes into this, and I'm going to go ahead and tape it on there so it doesn't fall off while I'm trying to poke holes in there. Or maybe I can use paper clips. Let's see, what can I do? I got paper clips. All right, so I'll put a little paper clip on there. Maybe here. And maybe here. You see the spine got a little bent as it was drying, but hopefully when we glue it into the book, it'll be flat. So we want to poke the holes as if the spine were flat. So I want to lay it flat as I can. I have this is my bookbinding kit box, and I'm going to get the awl out. When I finally get to the point of sewing, I'm going to use one of the needles in this, and I will probably use, this is my wax thread that I love to use for bookbinding, so I'll be using those in a minute. And I have this little piece of foam that I use as an underneath for when I'm poking. So here we go. Let's commence with poking our holes into the spine. All right, start in the middle. And remember, if it's not perfect, it's really okay. It's art, and art is not supposed to be perfect. If you want a perfect book, you can buy one. If you want a beautiful handmade book, well, you make one. Or you buy one from somebody who's made one. But none of them are all going to be perfect. Looks good. Great, great. Now we have all our holes poked into our spine, and we can start sewing in the signatures. This is great, you guys. We're making great progress. So I'll take this off. And the spine looks good. Looks like it's pretty even for the most part. And I'll take one signature. I'll take this back one. This is one that goes into the back of the journal. And I'm going to go ahead and I already put some paper clips on there to hold the signature in place, hold the pages still so they don't slip around. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to use the template also for the signatures. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to go ahead and use these paper clips. So paper clip in the template. Like so. And you see how I've got the middle holes right in the spine of the signature. So then, oh, there's actually another thing I need to consider. It's the fact that my signatures are not all the same size. So what I really want to do is make sure that they're lined up one way or the other. You see, let me show you. I didn't make them even, which is sad to me. So you see how they're different heights. So what I want to do is actually, I would rather pretend that they're level from looking at the book from the top down, and then they'll be uneven on the bottom and it won't be as noticeable. So in order to do that, I want to make sure that they're all level and that I sew them in such a way that they're, you know, like so. So I need to make sure that they're lined up properly when I poke the holes into the signatures and when I sew them in. So let's start with the top one by, or I should say the last one, the one that we're already working with, this one here. What I'm going to do is make sure that I have the template lined up flush with the top. I think flush with the top, and then whatever's hanging out the bottom, I'll just clip it in like that. That way, every signature, the template will be flush with the top and different on the bottom. I hope this is making sense. If it's not, I really apologize. And if you have any questions, just leave them in the comments section and I'll be happy to oblige. So I've lined it up with the top, and I'm going to go ahead and start poking the holes using the awl, the same as I did into the signatures, using this piece of foam to capture the needle. There. So now we've got 3 holes in this. Take off the template. I want to put my clips back on though, because I want to keep them in the same exact place that they are. And here is our first actual attempt at sewing in the signature into the spine. So we're going to go ahead and sew these in to this last set of holes right here. So this is the fun part. I really enjoy this, and I hope that if you're crafting along that you're enjoying it too, or if you think that you might make a project like this someday or anytime soon or anytime, I hope that you're enjoying yourself too, because this is very satisfying work. There we go. I've got this waxed thread and I'm going to use it. So we do 1, 2, 3 lengths of the book, maybe just a little tiny bit more. Cut. Let's thread our needle. Come on, thread. Is it in there? Yeah, good. Thread our needle. And then we're going to start in the middle of our signature by poking the needle through. Then we're going to put the needle through the center of the last hole on our spine. So stick that all the way through and pull until you have a tail left over. And then you want to make sure that doesn't slip through, so hold on to that for a minute. Go through the back hole. Put your needle all the way through that. And then through the top hole. There it is. And then pull that through. Oh no, I've lost my tail. There it is. Woo! Caught it in time. Okay, this is getting all wonky. Let's fix it. There. It'll get easier as we sew in more signatures. Okay, so you've gone out through the middle and then in through the top, and then skip all the way across to your bottom hole. Go through there. Find your bottom hole in your spine. Put that through there. And then pull that through. And then we're going to go back through the middle and stick your needle through on the other side of the tail. Make sure that you don't split your thread. If you do start to split your thread, just back the needle out and try again. And just pull it nice and taut. Looks like it's in there really good. We can take our needle out. Let's see how it looks against the spine. Oh, I think it looks really good. I think it's on there good, and it's in there good. Just pull it tight, and then again, make sure that you've got one on one side and one on the other side, and then this one in the middle. And then just make yourself a little knot there, like that. And unless you're going to put charms or beads on there, you can just cut it. I'm going to go ahead and just cut it because this is getting long if we don't stop somewhere. So I take off those, and we've got our first signature in. Yay, you guys! This is really coming together. I'm excited. So maybe we'll do another one together and see how that goes, and then I'll finish the other ones off camera, and we'll put the spine into the book together when I get back. Let's thread the needle and get the second one. Oh, well, let's see. Here's the second signature. And what we want to do is the same thing with our template and all that we did. So I'll just demonstrate that one more time. First thing I want to do is paper clip the template in. And I do believe I'm going to put a T for the top because I think this one was the top. So T for top. Not that it really matters because it should be even both ways, but just to be on the safe side, I'm going to go ahead and put the template in flush with the top. Make sure that that's the top. Put a paper clip on the top and the bottom. Boy, this really is wonky because this one's going to have a completely, it doesn't even reach to the bottom. Really sad. See, this is what happens when you don't make your signatures even. Shame on me. No, I'm just kidding. It's not really the end of the world. But next time I will try to be more careful with my measuring. I didn't measure, that was the problem, is I just eyeballed it. Sometimes eyeballing isn't always the way to go, at least not for me. So there, there, and then at the bottom, which is almost all the way at the bottom, there. Take off the template, put the clips back on, and then get our needle. This is so exciting. I'm so excited you guys are here. I hope that you hung around with me through the rest of this journey that I've been on today with working on the Pink Lady journal. Yeah, so there we go. We've got 3 lengths of the book. And we've got our needle. Okay. And then again, we just repeat the process. Let's see if we can do this. Go in through the middle, and then we're going to go into the second to the last holes. So here, go in through the middle. I should say out through the middle. Out through the middle, leave a tail, and then in through the top. In through the top. Excellent. In through the top, pull and skip your second hole, go to the bottom hole. Go through the bottom hole and then through the bottom hole of the spine. So as you can see so far, well, let's finish this first. Let's finish this part first. Okay, so we've got that gone through the bottom, and then what we're going to do is go back through the middle hole. And I am going to pull that through. There. That is good. Pull it nice and tight, snug. It looks like it's flush. This is what I was going to say, is that the top part is flush, and it's flush with the spine, and the bottoms are going to be wonky, but that's okay. The top will look good. So make a knot. Make a knot again if you want. Although the wax thread, it's likely not come apart. Trim that. Remove our paper clips. Ah, look at that. We've got our first 2 signatures in, you guys. Let me just take a look and see how this is going to look in the book. This is really starting to come together, you guys, and I am very excited. Yes. So when it's time to put the spine in with the signatures, it's going to look really good. Oh, I like it. Okay. So even though our signatures are of various sizes, I still think it looks pretty good. I think what I'm going to go ahead and do is finish sewing in the signatures off camera so that you don't have to be bored by it. If you want to see the process of the 3-hole pamphlet stitch again, just rewind the video and watch it again. And so I'll finish sewing in the signatures, and then I'll come back and we can glue in the spine together and finish the book. So yeah, that'll be great. All right, I'll be right back. Okay, everybody, I'm back, and I have all the signatures sewn in, and they're looking really good, and I am ready to go ahead and install them into the spine of the book. So that's what we'll do right now. I think I'm going to use Fabri-Tac for this and see how that works. Okay, so I really wanted to gob it on there, and now here I go before it melts, or before it dries. Before it dries, let me go ahead and just install that. Hold it down until it dries for a minute. I'll speed up that drying time for you. Well, I think, you guys, that this book, other than maybe a few charms that I'll be putting on later and some embellishments that I'll be adding to the book later, the book is essentially done. Let's just do a quick little flip through of what we've got and see how it goes. Okay, it's not completely dry, so let's just do this very gently. Okay, so we've got this. These are pockets. Mostly it's a book of pockets. And this tuck. These are Stamperia papers, which I think are just lovely. And they really lend themselves to getting some lace put on them, some sewing done around them, little bling attached to them. And I really like the lace ruffles. I think that looks really good. I dyed these with red food coloring, and they turned pink, and they're really bright pink, and I'm not ashamed. I'm not ashamed of how pink this book is. It's supposed to be pink, and it is over the top pink, and I just love it. I think it's just really pretty. I hope that you like it too. So we're at our last signature now. This is a really pretty page. This kind of paper here, I like that. Oops. I also added rose essential oil to the dye bath when I was making these pages. So you can't smell it, but the book smells like rose. So it's really nice. And that's the end. Oh, and it's not sticking all the way. I'm gonna have to hold this and make sure that it stays in place for a little while, but I'll let you guys go, and thank you so much for hanging with me. And if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and put your comments in the comment section below. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed. I really appreciate you being with me through this. So you guys have a great day. Also, if you want to see the video where I made the cover to this, I will link it in the description below, as well as a couple of shorts I have where I added some of this lace trim just real quick that you might want to see. So in case you want to see those, I will do that, and I hope you will enjoy those as well. All right. Well, thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.